yourself to the uninformed.
All right, awesome. My name is Dr. Shelby Chipman, Director of Bands at Florida A&M University here in Tallahassee, Florida, and just excited to be here this afternoon.
Well, it's good. You just completed the 2019 band camp. It was a successful camp. So we say, well, anyone you like in the military, parachute jump, anyone you can walk away from is a good one. So
That's
you
right.
walked away, so it was successful. Dr. Chipman, you're here at Florida A&M University. Where are you from?
I'm born and raised in Miami, Florida, Overtown, Liberty City, Carroll City, and of course humble beginnings. Started at elementary school, of course, music, where I picked up the trumpet for the first time in 5th grade and went on to Horace Mann Middle School and then matriculated to Miami Northwestern High School, the greatest high school in America, where I graduated in 1982, played in the trumpet section and eventually got a scholarship to attend Florida A&M University, provided to me by Dr. Judy White, one of the former directors of FAMU.
Okay, who was your early influence? Music? You grew up with music in the house?
Yeah, so I grew up early. My musical influence centered around my uncle, who was a church musician, a keyboardist, and of course I was singing in the church choir. Of course, as we grew up through the AME system, African Methodist Episcopal Church, it allowed me to explore a whole lot of avenues as it relates to those simple hymns, but also wonderful melodies.
So picked up in elementary school, then you went on to the great Northwestern home of the Bulls.
Yes.
Who was your band director?
My band director from middle school was Ferris Rhodes, and the brother of Ferris Rhodes, of course, at Horace Mann was Herbert Rhodes. And so I got the dynamic duo. It was 3 Rhodes brothers, another one that taught at Brownsville down in Miami, but I had Ferris Rhodes in middle school, Horace Mann, and then Herbert Rhodes, who all 3 marched in the Conference March 100 back in the 60s.
Okay. So as you're in high school and you're trying to decide, well, it seems like it was already decided for you, but
Yeah.
and you're looking, and I'm sure you had offers as an elite musician in the great state of Florida, opportunities to go to school in other places. But you talk about the HBCU marching band experience, the culture. What is it? I mean, what was so unique about it that it just drew you in to here?
That's interesting because I was in the Dade County Superintendent's Honors Band, and Dr. Gene White was the guest conductor. And of course, I had never met Dr. White. I'd seen him from afar because my brother, of course, attended FAMU. He didn't participate in the band. He was in psychology, but I got a chance to attend the Florida Classic as well as the Orange Blossom Classic, where I witnessed the FAMU band perform in parade and at the game. But when he came to Tallahassee, when he came down to Miami, he offered scholarships to students as he was going around before he gets conducted. And I got a scholarship to go to FAMU. And I knew even before that, of course we didn't have the social media presence and YouTube and everything else that's available now, but just through videos that I had seen, I knew FAMU was going to be my college of choice. It wasn't not as familiar with other HBCUs. However, at that time, I knew FAMU was going to be my college of choice. So I matriculated into FAMU. I had the opportunity to participate in the band for a few years, of course, studying computer science, and lo and behold, at one point, Dr. Foster, who was also a former director here for 58 years, invited me into his office with Dr. White, and they said, "Shelby, want to speak to you." I said, "Oh, okay, all right." And so they pulled me to the side at that time and asked me if I would consider, after finishing my degree in computer science, to stay an additional 2 years for music education, which I did. And so I ended up graduating from FAMU in '87 in computer science and '89 in music. Subsequently went on down to South Florida, where I started my career teaching at American High School for 1 year, then Miami Central High School for 9 years, before I came back in 1998.
So you took the style and the lessons from here back to the high school ranks.
Absolutely.
Perfecting the craft. And the students were receptive, they were open to it. And you feel like you were successful at that level?
Oh, very, very much so. I modeled the FAMU band, being honest with you, after the 100. I mean, when you find a good model, jazz musicians do it all the time, classical musicians do that all the time. And I thought that's the route that I wanted to follow. And so many of the ideals and principles center around the 100 in terms of the virtues of outstanding musicianship and perfection in musicianship and the high degree of precision that's expected from the members of the 100, and of course the dedication that all the members put towards the presentation that's what I wanted my students at Central to model as it relates to examples of what needs to be done. And so subsequently, the music that we know has to be relevant, that the 100 has always been known for, as well as the diversity in the music in terms of what we present to those audiences. I always made sure that I was a part of my Central Band program as well as I developed those students then.
Okay. So then that, you taught in high schools for a couple years, and then now you're back here at FAMU. How did that happen?
Wow. So, you know, after like 10 years of teaching down in Dade County, there was a position to open up, of course, Dr. William B. Foster retired in 1998 after 58 years, and Dr. Judy White took over, and there was the interview process, of course, and I was fortunate and humbly accepted the opportunity to come back in and serve as his assistant to the director of bands. And so I worked in that capacity from 1998, of course, until 2011, and during that time I was able to study and model all the things that would be important as to why and how the FAMU Band was built and developed into the institution that it has, with all the very noticeable musical techniques, of course the marching and maneuvering techniques, the animation in the show, performing with all the same artists and such as Prince and Kanye West and Sister Sledge back in the day, and of course noted gospel artist Shirley Caesar, and of course traveling to Paris, France, and just so many Super Bowls and virtuoso opportunities that the band had at the Walt Disney World production, going out to California, performing all kind of settings that we have the opportunity to perform for. So I learned and studied things related to how to be an effective band leader, dealing with scholarship, dealing with university personalities on campus and other departments. And I think those are some of the things that helped strengthen my opportunity, even as I worked with Dr. Young, who served as director 2013 and 2016, and then ultimately I was selected as the band director here on campus 2016 to this present point.
So then, now you came through the process, you had the experience. Now you come back. Now you're here. You're the magic man. You have the wand, and you are you're in charge. You are bringing young minds into this space. And so I'm saying to you, you know, this HBCU thing, it's more than marching and it's more than music. And as you see, you're here for the 2019 band camp, and you have all these alumni, the Alumni Association, and what have you. What is that all about? Why? I mean, you know, these people are grown. I mean, they have obviously something happened to them when they came through here, and they're insisting that the children come here and listen. So what's unique? And not that it's unique to Florida A&M or just HBCU bands. In general, what is it? What is that certain je ne sais quoi that is in the air that happens at an HBCU and this band with music?
I would just say, to answer your question, HBCUs are very relevant in terms of the musical presentation that they provide to the audience, especially the audiences within the HBCU setting. There's something about the music and its relevance that we hear in our car radios that connects to the people when we're on the gridiron, or whether it's a fifth quarter or a zero quarter. And I think some bands, they have halftime show presentations that they present, and it may be something centered around certain themes that's relevant to their audience. But when those HBCUs hit that gridiron, when they come in those stands for the audiences, it's something about the unique strut that they have, and all the bands are different in their own, presentation and their own style. Some bands have drum majors that are one singular. Some bands like FAMU in the past have had as many as 10 drum majors. And so when you see those drum majors, you see the colorful uniforms, you hear the sounds of the percussion sections that are all unique in terms of what they present. That's what gravitates, I think, the audience members. And then when you hear the music, whether it's Aretha Franklin or whether it's any of the noted Drake artists or Mariah Carey or Michael Jackson or Prince, it's a relevance that I think that relates to the audiences, and that's why when you have HBCU halftime shows, the audiences stay there. Many would even say in respect that after the halftime, some of the audience in some of these college settings, the students leave because the show is over. They may like football, but it's something about the uniqueness, and I think it all centers around relevance as it relates to music. And I know here at FAMU, we've always tried to provide that type of relevance to our audience members, so they would want to be connected. And we even go to the extent where we survey our student populations through social media sites to make sure that we're playing music that some of the audience members might want us to consider. And I think that's unique about the FAMU band also, to draw them in.
But then let me let me ask you this. And I being a graduate of an HBCU, I know what the experience did for me. Some students are more needy than others. Some students come from very limited backgrounds, and they're here on a wing and a prayer.
Right.
And they're in this band, and you know, the band is a great idea, but without buy-in, you just got a bunch of people who know how to play instruments. What do they get?
Right.
What are they getting? Because it seems to be more about, it's like a life thing. It's not about, friends for life or
Right.
network.
One of the first things that's important to Florida A&M is the character. The character has to be right. The heart has to be in the right place. We have this saying, even at FAMU, the 100 isn't for everybody. And there's some unique opportunities for high school students coming to FAMU to be in the band, but their spirit got to be in the right, their level of musical excellence has to be in the right place. They have to be dedicated and committed, but most importantly, that character piece has to be in line with what we believe in as one of our top virtues of a student that's going to trial for the band program. And I think even further, as we think about the students that matriculate here to FAMU, they're scholars, they're some of the top students in the high school bands. On any given year, when we survey some of the students and even ask them about what's the most, what chair were there in their high school, some of them are some of the top chairs. They even represent some of the students who are even valedictorians, salutatorians, as well as scholastic achievers in their school. And so that relates to the kind of level of achievement that I know that assists us with developing these students. And of course, HBCUs historically have been a role model for many college bands as relates to influencing the high school bands. And I think as we continue to influence high school bands, that would be very important in terms of how we can encourage students to know that the music, the arts are really important, and can be that investment that you're making as a high school student that will get you to college when you have those grades right, test scores right, you're working to excel on your instruments, become outstanding musicians. Because ultimately, we would like to see as many students as we can to matriculate to college, realizing there are other options out there for students that just can't afford to go to college. But certainly, through their musical achievement, that scholarship that they might get to audition for any HBCU, but Hope FAMU might be the reason why they get a chance to leave that city and advance and matriculate and learn and study with some of the finest collegiate bands in the country.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You talk about the influence of the HBCU. When I travel in the area that I live, and I go to occasionally I go to a high school football game, or there's a parade going through the community, and I hear the influences.
Right.
I hear the influences of the drum cadences that I've heard that somewhere else before. Or I hear the music that they're playing, the selections, the charts that they're playing. I've heard that somewhere before, whether it's at homecoming, whether it's at the Florida Classic or a game. But then I look on TV on Saturday, and I see the Hope powerhouses, the big schools, the large Division I schools, and I'm hearing in the background, and I'm hearing them playing charts, and I'm saying, I see the influence is not limited. Is that acknowledged? Is that like
Well, that's interesting, because it's amazing how times have changed. And there was a time where you may not have heard those selections being played by many of those schools. But I think in 2019, as we have moved forward, and of course the day and age of the Millennium Kid and the resources that are available for many students in all kinds of situations, whether it's a rural area, urban, suburban area, they're just listening to this kind of music. I mean, it's what drives everything, the Billboard charts, BET Awards, and all kind of other opportunities that people have to listen to music. And so when you think about historically black colleges, as well as PWIs and other institutions, they get it. Everybody is getting it now. You got to connect to the people, because if we don't connect to the people through music and through the advancement of the dance routines and movement, we're going to lose our audiences. And there was a time where bands in general were showcased as halftime on news networks, as well as doing television telecasts on CBS, NBC, ABC, and ESPN. Somewhat is coming back on some networks, but in general, unless we continue to make it important and connect with the people, we're going to lose that. But thank God to those that get it. And that's why many institutions and marching bands are having the opportunity, that is, to gain national attention through the media. Like we had the opportunity to perform in the Children of Roses Parade in Pasadena, California, where over 600 million people got a chance to witness the band. I should edit that and say 60 million people observed the band.
Okay, back up. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah, so I want to just mention that we got an opportunity, the Florida A&M University Incomparable March 100, to perform before 60 million people in Pasadena, California during the Children of Roses Parade.
Okay, so then I get it. I mean, I get it personally, but I was just checking with you to make sure that I wasn't crazy. So either that or you got two crazy people. But you got the baton in your hand right now. Dr. Foster, Dr. White, Dr. Jones, then we got Dr. Chipman. Down the road, the baton is going to be passed. So your legacy, what's your vision for this and because it's such an influential institution. So what you want to leave? What do you want to leave on this blessing that has been placed in your hand?
Right. So as I think about the March 100 and where we are, where we have been, and I think about this millennium era as it relates to what would be important for students of today to be able to grasp, I'm looking to find that degree or level of musical presentation as it relates to animation shows that can even be set at the next level through the use of not only just pyrotechnics that many bands have revolutionized in the last, say, 5 years or so, the dance routines that have been modernized, but there's another level that I know that's out there. We're searching for that as we speak now. But most importantly, I think that the students that matriculate to FAMU, we want them to have the kind of positive experience, those that are members of the band, to realize they're setting their own mark that relates to some of the things that may have happened with Super Bowls in the past and performing with Kanye West and Jamie Foxx, and now even the Children of Roses Parade. But what is it next for this band as it relates to innovative ideas that are going to be placed on the field? And I'm searching for that as we speak as a third-year director, four-year director of the Incomparable March 100. I'm looking for that as we speak. I'm connecting with alums. I'm connecting with people who are in the field like me that are excellent drill riders, that are excellent in the musical presentation, through people like Mr. Lindsey Sargent, our ranger, and trying to find the next level. And I hope to do that in a very short period of time to answer your question. But most importantly, I know that our students are going to have the kind of experiences that are going to allow them to be able to say they set their marks too in the Incomparable March 100. And that's what we're looking at trying to achieve as we move forward. We will set that bar super high.
Well, I'm thanking you. So I'm gonna get you on the record so that as we go forward, as the creator and the producer of USA Band Wars, I will be contracted when the Marching 100 performs on the moon, when the Marching 100 performs on Mars, when we, as innovators, we bring in artificial intelligence, holograms, and all that stuff on the field, and we bring the drones in, because we got some drones in our arsenal. Only thing
about the drones, it'd be hard to get them in the stadium. Nobody wants the drones inside the stadium.
Right.
But it's out there. It's an opportunity.
It's out there.
It's an opportunity.
I'm gonna have to operate my drone from the parking lot so we can get that bird's eye view.
Next level.
But yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate what you're doing, and as a parent, you know, as a kid in the band, and now as a parent, you know, our perspective is shifted. What you're doing for these parents. A trusted capacity, and what you're doing for the university and our community. I commend you, and I wish you absolutely nothing but the best.
I want to thank you, Rufus, for this opportunity, sir. All right, man. Thank you.